The hosts feel it would be a little unkind to present this podcast without just a word of friendly warning. We are about to unfold the story of Frankenstein, a man of science who sought to create a man after his own image without reckoning upon God. It is one of the strangest tales ever told. It deals with the two great mysteries of creation, life and death. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now's your chance to. Well, we've warned you. Hello, and welcome once again to the Frankencast. I'm the mad scientist, Anthony Bowman. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm joined as always by...
the Danny DeVito-esque ringleader of the traveling carny circus that is Hayden Orr. My pronouns are also he, him.
Yeah, so this one kind of like just snuck up on us. Like I think you actually found this. You pointed it out to me on Twitter, and like I had not really heard much about this, but like this is a fun little, very Frankenstein-y animated film in theaters right now.
Yeah, somebody I follow on Twitter retweeted from the official like movie account because they had done a mock poster for Stitchhead that was like aping the weapons poster. I saw the name of the movie. I was like, Stitchhead. I was like, what is this about? And I looked a little bit more into it, and I was like, wow. I literally have never heard of this before until like just now, and it's like wild.
Yeah, and like it looks like it's based on a series of graphic novels. There's like all kinds of stuff from this, and yeah, it just has completely missed me. But yeah, I was glad you stumbled upon it because it was fun.
Oh yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. I wasn't sure, like, because with a lot of kids movies nowadays, I guess, because kids movies from your childhood, you can kind of like have that sheen of nostalgia that makes you be like, well, they don't hold up perfectly, but they're still good. But I was really like surprised with how much I ended up liking this. It really, like, we were talking, before we started recording. And I think we're both kind of thinking about getting some of the actual like graphic novels and looking into them.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Mighty Mighty Monsters that we've done some Patreons about is similar, where it's just like, these are intriguing. I want to see like where they came from.
Yeah.
This maybe even more so. Like it's definitely a Frankenstein story, but it has some kind of different stuff going on in here that like makes me curious to see like what a series of graphic novels, where it would go. Like Stitchhead is actually like a really compelling character for a kids movie. And like you said, like modern kids movies, there is like, this does end with a dance number. Like that's just a thing that I think pretty much since Shrek, like every animated movie feels like it needs to do this.
Yeah.
But that being said, like I think this does have an interesting plot, and it's got something to say, and it's fun and sweet and a little sad at points, and yeah, it does a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely like I was getting a lot of Igor vibes, which I was trying to explain to my boyfriend. Like we went and saw it together, and he was like, "I've never seen that. I don't know what you're talking about." And I was like, "Oh." But it's definitely one of those that I would say you could like throw on, just like people probably throw on like Hotel Transylvania for their kids or something. Mm-hmm. I would say this would definitely be one worth putting on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it definitely has more substance to it than Hotel Transylvania. There's nothing wrong with Hotel Transylvania. Obviously, we did those too, but like, this has got a little bit more going on. But I guess there are some similarities as well in that it's very much about seeing the monsters side of things, of being afraid of humans because of angry mobs and all that, and like when you have these two groups that both think the other side is the scary aggressor, like what does that mean, and how do you get past that?
Yeah, there's definitely like the sense of community specifically within the monster group is like a major theme in this, is like that community coming together and really feeling like a family, which I mean, I guess not biologically, but really they are, because they kind of all basically have the same father.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie, it kind of is like, there's like several little like, you know, found families that are all like, it's like a triangle between like this little small village where everybody knows each other, and the monsters that are all taking care of each other, and our like traveling circus that, you know, they're just trying to like scrape by any way they can. And definitely the circus comes across as like the villains, but like they're still just trying to figure things out. Like they're not like, I wouldn't call anybody in this movie like evil. You know, everybody's just like doing their best, and maybe some of them are a little more corrupt than others, but like, you know, sometimes you do what you can sometimes. And but yeah, I mean, I think the ringmaster of the circus, Fulbert Freakfinder is his name.
Yeah,
he's certainly like the villain of the film, but you know, I think he's just like a villain by circumstances, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, he's not as outright evil as some kids movie villains. I mean, you could definitely see where he's very capitalistic and like very like much is wanting to make money. Like that's his main driving goal over like human rights or monster rights, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's understandable to a certain extent, because, you know, money runs everything, and you kind of have to have money or you're gonna be living pretty rough, which we see that the circus folk kind of have been living pretty rough for a while.
Yeah. All right, well, yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have this small town that it's like something like Grubber Nubbin is the name of the town. And like we have what seems to be a train, but is actually like a series of like steam powered cars that are all like connected and are like, so they're driving on I mean, it's a train, but it's on the road basically. And this is our traveling freak show. You know, run by, as we said, Fulbert Freakfinder, who like goes into like his, you know, carnival barker pitch thing. He sings a song called "Are You Ready for Monsters?" and the village people all come out, and he sort of shows them a preview of a couple of the exhibits. We have a contortionist, a fortune teller who seems to only tell bad fortunes, and then like two guys who seem like they do like acrobatics, and like they felt like they were supposed to be a parody of something, but like maybe
they seem very specific, but I'm not big on the history of you know, acrobats or like circus performers, so I wasn't really sure if they were supposed to specifically be a reference to someone.
Yeah, it felt like they were like always on the cusp of being like more like fleshed out. Like there was something there, but we just never quite got it. Like, which I guess is one of the reasons that like maybe the graphic novels will be interesting, because I assume that we'll meet some of these characters more in depth there. Yeah, so we have like basically he shows several things that are not that impressive, and the crowd just kind of wanders off until we're left with one girl who is like stays there, and her name is Arabella. Yeah, and so she's basically like, yeah, everybody left. They weren't impressed. And he's like, well, I mean, I thought we have good stuff. And she's like, oh, this village, we're all scared all the time because there's this big castle on the hill. It's full of monsters. So like, what you've got is nothing compared to that. And you know, you see Freakfinder, like, you know, dollar signs in his eyes, basically like, monsters, you say? This could be my chance at like a big break.
Yeah, that kind of felt reminiscent of, and I guess also because of the traveling circus aspect of the beginning, it reminded me a lot of House of Frankenstein, with you know, them basically hijacking that traveling sideshow, and then going into the small town that's just outside of Frankenstein Castle and all that.
Yeah. It's interesting. There's a lot of versions of Frankenstein that take us to circuses. I don't know if it's just like the freak nature of it, but like, is it The Bride where he like, you know, befriends like the little person and they're in the circus together? And
Yeah. Well, and even like I think it's Evil of Frankenstein. It's not really a circus, but there's the hypnotist who like lives out of basically a circus cart.
Yeah,
that is like a major character in that. There does seem to be like a lot of crossover with like carnival, circus, you know, sideshow attraction like themes and or characters popping up in Frankenstein stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I mean, I think the freak angle is the only thing that really explains why, but I like it. Like I think it tends to work. Like I think that there's a lot of good stories, a lot of good angles from that like I'm not tired of it, even though I feel like I've seen it, you know, 6 or 7 times at this point.
Oh yeah. Well, even in Frankenstein Alive that, you know, Bernie Wrightson did right before he passed, the monster basically has a good ending where he's living amongst circus folk, and like they're all you know, that like they've got that definite kind of like found family thing with him.
Yeah, and that's definitely like where we start going in this, like, is that like Stitchhead thinks that this is a chance at a found family. Jump from the, you know, Arabella pointing out the castle to like seeing what's going on in the castle, which is that we have like a mad scientist who I don't even know. I think he's just the professor. I don't know if we ever get a name for him other than that.
I don't think they ever say his name in the movie, but in the comics, his name is, where was it? I have it written down. Professor Erasmus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we get like, you know, the professor is working on his newest monstrous creation, and we meet Stitchhead, who seems to be, he's definitely Frankenstein looking, like he has, you know, stitches on his head, but he's also kind of the like Fritz Igor type character here as well. Like he's assisting with the creation of a new monster, but then we see, you know, in the way that, you know, Victor Frankenstein often, like, you know, in various adaptations makes a monster and then is immediately like done with the monster. That's like this professor's whole deal. He makes a monster and then like literally within seconds is like, it's time to begin my greatest creation, and he's just completely forgotten what he just did.
Yes.
And that's Stitchhead's job now, is he runs like the island of misfit toys of forgotten monstrous creations by the professor.
Yeah, but also, I mean, I was getting vibes of like the island of Dr. Moreau as well, where like he's just constantly making more and more, and you know, they kind of end up having to like take care of each other because he's too busy on like the constant creation process.
Yeah, and we find out, of course, Stitchhead is the first, and you know, like he kind of like feels like it's his duty to kind of keep this everything going, to the point. So like the new monster, like, which is like in more like, you know, actually monstrous. You know, he's like, you know, large bodied. He has a tail and horns and lots of fur and everything. But he also is like made of pieces. So he's like a couple different monsters. You know, Frankenstein.
He's even got like a human arm sticking out of his chest.
Yeah, he has like 2 arms that are the right size on his body, and then just a little tiny human arm sticking out, which he uses occasionally for things. But yeah, so Stitchhead's kind of giving him the lay of the land. He gives him a tour, I think actually he gives him a bath, and then he like, you know, gives him a tour and shows him this like orientation video that's basically like, you're a monster, so you want to do monstrous stuff, but we don't want to scare the villagers because then they'll form an angry mob and that'll cause us problems. So just be chill, basically. Like, we're just going to all be up here being cool and calm and everybody will be happy and no one will bother us. The new monster asks Stitchhead what his name is, and he's like, if you don't have one yet, I think I would call you Stitchhead. And he's like, yeah, that's my name. My name's Stitchhead. And he's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And what is my name? And Stitchhead gives him the name Creature. So definitely a little Frankenstein-y there as well.
Yeah. It's the naming conventions are funny because you have like Stitchhead and Creature, and then you've got like several of the other monsters are just named like Steve or like like Samantha. Like they just have regular ass names.
Yeah, I really like that there are two monsters. One who like is just like has like a regular name, and the other one that's snail-like, and so they are Mary and Shelley.
Yes.
So that was, but we get like most of their names, like we just get them all like at the very end when the when the mad scientist like kind of comes out of his fugue state, sort of. But we will like have a lot of interactions with them before that, where like. Stitchhead takes Creature to like the little like dorm area and talks to all the other monsters, and we find out like all of them are terrified of humans. This seems like Stitchhead has kind of like ingrained this into all of them with his orientation video, and he reads like a bedtime story about that angry mobs will come get you if you're not quiet and stuff. So it's definitely a very big preoccupation for all these monsters.
Yeah. It makes me curious, like, if in the graphic novels, if they go into, like, if the professor started that with Stitchhead, or if something happened, like, around the time that Stitchhead was created, that maybe he did deal with the angry mob or something.
Yeah, it does feel like there should be, like, a prequel to this or something.
Yeah, because you get the feeling that the professor literally couldn't care less about the villagers. Like, he's literally only focused on making monsters.
Yeah, and like, with going back to Hotel Transylvania, like there's kind of that same thread, but there we find out that, an angry mob killed Mavis's mom, and that this is like, Dracula is trying to protect her from humans because of this. But yeah, we don't get that here. It's just kind of like implied that like something happened or just there's an inherent fear there that they, can't let go of.
Yeah.
But we also find out that, like, Stitchhead is pretty lonely. Like, the Creature is, asking about how they were made. And this is where Stitchhead says that he's the first and everything. And he's like, oh, then you must be his favorite. And Stitchhead's like, I'm not even sure if he knows I exist. Like, he's just so focused on his work. Like, this is like, probably some kids watching this probably like, oh yeah, Dad's always at work. Like this is it's definitely a real experience that a lot of people have.
Yeah, or even like just and the older child in the family. I've had plenty of friends that have had similar sort of living situations when they were kids, like their parents are busy working or not there all the time, and they have like a bunch of little brothers and sisters to take care of, and so it's like that's very much the role that Stitchhead is kind of stuck with, or at least he feels like he's stuck with. He feels that responsibility for all these other monsters.
Yeah, and it seems like he kind of finds it oppressive. Like he doesn't really appreciate his current situation and kind of feels like it's his duty, but I don't know that he's like happy with it. I think that's obviously the journey that he's got to go on in this movie.
Right.
Which is like, yeah, he goes to bed that night kind of like feeling lonely, and then is woken up the next morning by the doorbell, and he goes to check, and this is where the circus and the monsters collide. So yeah, we have the carnival barker there, like Freak Finder, who is like ready to recruit, and Stitchhead is trying to like keep him away. They're like talking through the door, and And, he's trying to be like, yeah, we know monsters are misunderstood. We want to help you out. And he's meanwhile, like, talking to the other circus people, like, this is a business opportunity. And I did like, eventually, Stitchhead does open the door, but he comes out wearing, like, a burlap sack on his head. And it's, like, straight up, like, Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th 2. Like, he's just, like, the one eye hole cut out. But, like, Freak Finder can't understand him through the bag, so he finally gives up and takes it off, and right away he's like, oh my god, you are hideous, they're going to love you, you're going to do so well. And this really connects for Stitchhead. People will love me, people will want me around, they will remember me and care about me. This is unprecedented for him. So he is like, very interested.
Yes.
He says no, basically, or like goes back inside. I think Freak Finder like falls, like they're talking over like a really tall wall. There's a lot of kind of weird physics in this that, like it's just a cartoon, so it doesn't.
Yeah, they're like on the backside of the castle, which is literally just like a cliffside, and Freak Finder has made all of his carnival workers hold ladders up. So it's like one's holding a ladder, and then there's somebody on top of that ladder, and they're holding a ladder, and so on until they're at the very top. You have Freak Finder, and then they finally kind of give out, and they all fall.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great like physical gags during this scene. Because it's like a montage of him trying to get into the castle until that very last part where they actually talk to each other.
Yeah, he's doing anything he can to like get inside and see all of these monsters. But Stitch once he falls and like the encounter is over, Stitchhead like goes inside and Creature's like, you saved us all, like you got the humans to go away. The professor will be so proud. And we have Stitchhead goes to tell the professor about it, and he's in the middle of making a new monster, which is like a giant bug, and the professor does not hear him at all. He's like, the circus really wanted to recruit me, but I didn't join because you need me, right? And yeah, the professor does not even respond. So, we've got the new bug monster. It's time to do the tour again. But Stitchhead's, like, you can tell his heart's not in it anymore. He kind of is, he's telling Creature that he's training Creature to be the next recruitment specialist or whatever. So they're kind of doing the tour together. And then I think I think at some point Stitchhead just like abandons it. He just like leaves the castle, and flyers are falling from the sky, and they're flyers advertising him. I think it says like the unbelievable Stitchhead or the incomparable or something like that.
Yeah.
And we see that these are falling from a hot air balloon with all the circus people inside, and they're like trying to reach out and like pull him up. He's ready to go, and they like again, this is a lot more like physical gags. There's like rope hanging down, and the monsters are trying to pull Stitchhead back inside, and we get this whole like elaborate tug of war thing where like Stitchhead's arm almost comes off, and this becomes like a running theme that like the threads in his shoulder are loose.
Yeah.
So we go back to the town where like the carnival's all coming in. They've recruited Stitchhead. They're ready to like really wow the community now. And we have Arabella watching again. And is this woman, is this her mom? I don't know that it's ever like said. She seems,
she calls her Nan.
Okay,
so I'm thinking it's like a granny or something like that. But she had a lot of really great gags too, like constantly keeping Arabella locked up while she's like going to get autographs from Stitchhead and stuff.
Yeah, she's kind of made to look like the Bride of Frankenstein. She's got really tall hair with some white streaks on the sides and everything. Mm-hmm. And yeah, she seems really determined to keep Arabella safe from these horrible, wicked monsters. And yet at every opportunity she has to go see the monsters, she is excited about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a funny dynamic between the two of them. But I think once the circus rolls in, and of course Arabella's dragged away, so she doesn't get to see what's going on, and instead they the carnival does manage to get one guy that they're gonna like show him the the new exhibit, and like I think Stitchhead's like, what am I supposed to do? Like I don't have an act yet. Like, and we get the song "Make 'Em Scream." So basically, yeah, you're a monster. You don't have to do an acrobatic routine. You don't have to do a fortune telling thing. Like you just be yourself. Just be a monster. That's all we need. We just want you to scare people. And he does. He just kind of comes out and like waves, and this one guy from the village just like screams and runs away.
It's also the beginning of a lot of pee jokes. There's a lot of like people so scared they pee their pants or pee on the floor jokes in this movie, like more than I was expecting. There's even a dog peeing on somebody and then they pee on the dog like in the next scene. I was like, okay, so a lot of urine going on here.
Yeah, I guess that's for the kids. Like you gotta have some kid humor. I want to say there's like a fart joke in there somewhere too. Like yeah, it's But so we go from him.
I was gonna say from just seeing the trailer, I was expecting Freak Finder to be like much more antagonistic, like a lot earlier. You see Stitchhead in the cage, and I was thinking that it was going to be a lot more of like a bad situation, like as soon as they get hold of him. But he's pretty good to Stitchhead for like a lot of the time that he's with them.
Yeah, it is. I think it's like what I was saying at the beginning. Like he's a complex character. He's definitely out for himself more than anything else. But like I don't know if he is just like somewhat benevolent, or realizes that like being kind is better than being cruel. That like you're gonna the more flies with honey kind of thing. But yeah, he does kind of take Stitchhead under his wing and like seems to care for him. He does lock him in that cage, but that seems maybe more to protect him than to capture him.
Well, it's not even locked, I think. Because there's one scene where Stitchhead just opens the cage door without like ever having had any kind of key to unlock it.
Yeah, it may just be like that's the room we have is like, oh, we had a tiger cage, but we don't have a tiger anymore, so here you go, you're in there, something like that. But yeah, so we go from this scene where like the circus people are all excited to have Stitchhead, that like he's their new sort of like exciting thing to be a success, and then we go to the monsters who are really sad to have lost their like friend and mentor, the guy who kind of takes care of them all. So he's appreciated, but yeah, so they're working on a rescue plan. Like, what are we gonna do? Which the plan seems to be like we're gonna send Creature into town in like the most ridiculous series of like they put a bunch of weird gear on him and then they tuck him inside a shrub, and it's like a whole big messy thing. Ending in I think he like falls down a hill, and by the time he gets to town he's lost all of it. He's just himself again. And I think we've got him kind of trying to sneak around town and get to Stitchhead. And I think this is also the scene where we really have like Arabella and her Nan like really fighting. There's like sort of a montage of her continuing to try to sneak and buy tickets while everybody else in the village is going nuts, and the ticket sales are through the roof. And I think it's like that night we have the circus people celebrating, and Arabella has finally snuck away, and she gets to interact with Stitchhead. She meets him, and he's surprised that she's not scared. Everybody's scared of him. And she's just like, no, I've got questions. I've been wanting to talk to you. I've seen you through binoculars. I watch what's going on in the castle up there. So, you know, I can't remember what all she asks. Like, yeah, it's just like general questions about like how many monsters are up there? Who are they? What are you all doing? But then Freak Finder bursts in and is like, you're in here getting a free peek without paying. And so he, you know, kicks her out.
Yeah. She's Arabella is definitely like, if this was a different time and place, she would definitely have some like Aurora, you know, monster models in her room. She's definitely like a monster kid.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because like clearly her nan is as well. Like it's a shame that they're not getting to bond about this instead of like, you know, Nan feeling like she's got to protect her from it. But I guess that's their journey that we eventually kind of resolve near the end as well. But yeah, I think that like once he kicks her out, it's like the next day we have Freak Finder, you know, preparing Stitchhead again. Like, okay, yeah, you scared everybody yesterday, but like we gotta keep escalating so people keep coming back. You know, we gotta come up with something more elaborate, and he sings the "Are You Ready for Monsters" song again, and this time Stitchhead gets like a sort of like rap break in the bridge of the song.
Yeah.
You know,
it was unexpected, but not as bad as it could have been, I guess.
Yeah, like it's not like the absolutely like embarrassing like "my name is Stitchhead and I'm here to say" kind of rap, but like you know, he's just, yeah, he is sort of telling what he's gonna do to scare people and everything. But yeah, we find out, I mean, like Freak Finder's got like merch printed up with Stitch, like he is putting all of his, you know, hopes in Stitchhead being like the next big thing.
Yeah, they've got mugs, pajama sets, bottle openers, commemorative plates, I think he says at one point.
Yeah. But as you said, he does care for Stitchhead as well. So like, because things are going so well, Stitchhead is moving out of the old tiger cage or whatever into his own trailer, his own little like wagon that's got his face painted on it. And you know, he like Freak Finder kind of tucks him in there and he's like, okay, you can hang out there, but remember, no visitors. We got to keep you protected from the public and you know, like limit their chances to see you so that they're still excited about you. But pretty much right away, Stitchhead finds a hole in the floor, sneaks out, and goes to talk to Arabella to like find out more about what's going on in the town.
Is this also when Creature makes contact with Stitchhead again, or is that the next scene? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it is during this scene. Like, I think Stitchhead's talking to her about like, he's like, people love me, and she's like, no, they're entertained by you, but they don't actually love you. Like, that's not a real relationship. And he's like, but my face is on plates and people buy them. Like, they, you know, I have a fan club.
Yeah.
And, but like, he seems to be missing like what real love is, and that is when like Creature pops up, someone who actually does love him, you know.
Exactly.
So we have like this trio now of Stitchhead and Creature and Arabella. They like go and hide in Stitchhead's trailer, kind of continuing to like keep out of Freak Finder's view, as well as the two acrobat guys who are like put on guard duty out in front of the trailer. And you know, again, this is like the dual thing where it's like, yeah, we're gonna give you this nice trailer, but we're also gonna guard you so that nobody's, you know, like there is a little bit of self-interest in this as well.
Mm-hmm.
But something happens. I blinked and missed it somehow. Like the wagon just like starts rolling down a hill. I don't know if they like are bouncing around inside it or what, but like
it's I'm pretty sure because Creature is like deathly afraid of humans and especially being touched by humans. I'm pretty sure Arabella like touches him and he has kind of like a Monsters Inc. like, you know, meltdown that he got touched by a human, because his feet break through the bottom and he starts running, and that's what starts moving the trailer.
Yes. So yeah, the guards are like facing the other way. They don't even see it disappear. It ends up, it rolls down a big hill. It ramps up in the air and like ends up, going off a cliff. And like it's falling for so long that they like scream for a while and catch their breath and then start screaming again as it continues to fall. They wake up, like the wagon has crashed. They just like wake up on the shore. Like I think it like crashes into like a river or something. And Creature's like, why are you like spending time with this human? Like, isn't she could form an angry mob at any minute. What would you do then? And Stitchhead's like, I was wrong. Like I've interacted with people now, and they're as scared of us as we are of them, and they don't want to form an angry mob and hurt us. Like they just want to be safe, just like we do. But he's like, I'm gonna go back to the circus. You should go back to the castle and take care of the other monsters there. And Creature says, goodbye, very best friend. Like that's what, and it seemed like, I think he first calls Stitchhead that like the first time that they meet, like right after he wakes up. It seems that, like Frankenstein, all monsters just really want a friend.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's definitely like, that scene was like, I don't usually get super emotional, but that was the scene where he tells Creature goodbye was kind of like pulling at my heartstrings a little bit. You really feel like the genuine friendship that Creature has for Stitchhead, that Stitchhead kind of is like aloof about, I guess.
Yeah, it really like Creature like understands things better than Stitchhead. Really, like he knows that this is our community, this is our chance at connection, and Stitchhead is still so like outward facing and not realizing that he has what he's looking for. He's just looking in the wrong place.
Yeah,
and it kind of is emphasized in that he does abandon Creature, and then when he and Arabella get to town, they they're not hidden away at the circus like they're supposed to be, and so all the townspeople just get to see Stitchhead and they're swarming him. It's like the Beatles have arrived. They're like, I think this is one where Nan wants his autograph and stuff. Like everybody's just like swarming him. They're so excited to see Stitchhead out in public, and Arabella like kind of gets him away and is like, here, let me show you something. You need to get you like away from the crowds. And she takes him to her room where she has drawings of like all of the monsters. She has been watching them all through the window for a while. And Stitchhead's like, oh well, he's actually got more arms than you did, but like it's pretty close, and he's a little more orange than brown, but no, these are great. Like from the distance and the binoculars, like yeah, these are incredible. You've done great work here.
That's when she hits him with the picture of him and Creature holding hands.
Yeah, and again, it's a pretty strong emotional beat where he's like, yeah, I know he was coming to rescue me, but he doesn't understand that the people love me here. And we cut from that to the circus where they are mourning the loss of Stitchhead, but really mostly like they're mourning like their meal ticket. I don't, they're happy to have Stitchhead, but I don't think that they have like the emotional connection to him that Creature does.
Right.
Freak Finder's like, I'm so mad that he ran off. Like if he came back on his hands and knees begging to let us take him, or to let me, or let him to come back, I would say no. I wouldn't let him back. And then that's when Stitchhead shows up and he's like, oh, thank God you're back.
Yeah, they're all of the circus people are like, ixnay.
Yeah, it's one of those like, oh, he's right behind me kind of moments, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as they agree, like he's like, okay, well, we got to escalate again. We got to do a new show tonight. I've got this play written up. It's The Capture of the Ghoul of Grotesque, which I don't know if he said that's the name of the castle. It's like, grotesque, but pronounced silly.
Yes.
And we kind of get the scene from earlier where they like rescue him, or sort of, half rescue, half kidnap him with the hot air balloon. But here is maybe the most cruel moment from Freak Finder. He has them handcuff Stitchhead's hand to the set, and they're pulling on him, and he wants those threads to break. He wants Stitchhead's arm to come off, because, I mean, what's more freakish than someone who can have their arm removed and be theoretically okay? I mean, I think he's making some assumptions here. But
yeah, he's operating under the assumption that Stitchhead is like a Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas sort of situation, where you could literally just get knocked into several pieces and sew yourself back up and be fine. But this was like kind of surprising how dark Freak Finder's plan was here, because like that's the big draw is they're gonna see Stitchhead get dismembered, but then they're also going to get to see him put back together, like somebody that is entertained watching surgery, like at an old-timey doctor's surgery hall where you'd have students in the examination seats up around the operating theater.
Yeah, and like he's I think they're gonna go to an intermission, and that's like, when you come back, you're gonna get to see me put him back together. But yeah, Stitch, it's clear that Stitchhead has never lost an arm before. He's scared. Like, maybe he's a Sally, but we don't know, and he's not excited to find out. But thankfully, one more time, even though Stitchhead sent him away, Creature appears to rescue Stitchhead, and of course at this point, he's rescuing him in front of a big crowd of people. Chaos ensues. There's panic. People are running. The part of the circus tent catches fire in the process, and here Freak Finder really starts leaning into this heel turn where he kidnaps Arabella and runs away. And Arabella's like, you can't get Stitchhead back. Like, there's a whole, community of monsters up in the castle, and they take care of each other, and Stitchhead's gonna go back and be with all of his friends. And Freak Finder's like, wait, there's more monsters? A lot more monsters? So he's very excited about that. And at this point, Stitchhead is with Creature, and he's like, okay, I'm ready to go home. Like, things have gotten out of hand here. I think the almost getting his arm torn off thing, that was probably a pretty big convincing factor that maybe he doesn't belong down with the people.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would probably be pretty eye-opening for a lot of people, nearly getting dismembered for a circus act.
Yeah, absolutely. And continuing to be villainous, Freak Finder gathers all the villagers together and says that the monsters kidnapped Arabella, so maybe it's time to form an angry mob. That'll probably solve all the problems. We should go up there and get her back. And yeah, of course, the townspeople are ready. They want to rescue Arabella. And meanwhile, Freak Finder's talking to the other carnival people, and he's like, there's more monsters up there, and monsters mean money. So yeah, we have a reunion of Stitchhead arriving back with Creature, and all the monsters are so excited to see him, and he's starting to realize that maybe this is where he belongs. He apologizes. He says, I just really wanted to feel loved. And they're like, we love you, you idiot. Like, we've all loved you forever. Like, and I think this clicks. Like, Stitchhead's like, oh yeah, I was missing what was right in front of me all along. But then that's when we hear the angry mob approaching. So now we've got monsters panicking that this is the thing they've been afraid of their whole lives, and it's happening. So Stitchhead's like, don't worry, they're as afraid of you as you are of them. We've just got to be our most monstrous selves. And they're like, but no, we're too scared. We can't be monsters. So we have like an extended sort of chase scene of like the monsters running around the castle while they're being, followed by the angry mob. Sort of led by Nan. She's like one of the central people in the mob, of course, because, her granddaughter's been kidnapped by the monsters as far as she knows.
Yeah, she's definitely got like some bloodthirsty tendencies that she's finally able to let loose.
Yeah, she seems to be sort of enjoying it, but it all kind of culminates. We end up back in the room with the training video, and I think Stitchhead's like, maybe if I play this for the humans and the monsters, like everybody will understand where we're all coming from, and we can reconcile or whatever. So he goes to press play, but he can't because he earlier when he was letting Creature take over, he made a point to mention that like this is a VHS, like you got to rewind it when you're done, and Creature must have forgotten.
Be kind, rewind. You gotta. Yeah. Creature, he was just born, so he's not in the right generation for VHS.
Yeah, but this ends up working perfectly. I was pretty impressed with this. This was a really nice bit here. He's got it playing, but like rewinding at the same time, so everyone's getting to see the video in reverse. But when the video is played in reverse, it looks like the monsters sort of, they chase the angry mob and they turn monstrous and like take over and scare the people away. So all the monsters are like, maybe it could work that way. And Stitchhead's like, all right, guys, it's monster time.
Yeah. That was so great. It's literally like, video is originally, it's like repress your monstrous tendencies, don't be yourself. And then finally at the end, watching it in reverse, it's like, no, let that shit go. Like, it's time.
Yeah. Whereas, you have like a little animation of a monster being monstrous and then like, calming down. But yeah, in reverse, suddenly the calm monster just explodes into monstrousness. And yeah, it's really well done because you see the whole thing forward and would never put that together until you see it again at the end. But yeah, it's just really, really well put together. Once the video plays, now we have the exact same chase scene again, basically, but also reversed, where now the monsters are chasing the mob. But Freak Finder is using this distraction because kidnapping a monster is all well and good, but what if we kidnapped the professor and we could just make us an infinite supply of monsters? We'll always have new monsters. No one will ever get bored. We'll keep escalating. We'll just be raking in the money.
Which honestly, like, if the professor, never really came to his senses and realized, that he's been neglecting the monsters he's been making, that would probably have worked out. Because he literally is, like, constantly on to the next thing. And that would have exactly worked out for Freak Finder. I guess he probably would have eventually ended up just, mistreating all the monsters that are like yesterday's news.
Yeah, but they could have had a very symbiotic relationship for sure. But yeah, instead, Stitchhead pops up and tries to put a stop to it. And we have another tug of war situation where Stitchhead's in the middle. He's trying to pull this lever. The stitches are pulling, like it's, down to the wire. The lever pulls, and a new monster gets created, which is like a giant dragon-ish kind of like kaiju sort of monster. Like this is much bigger than any of the other monsters we've seen.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it's we see later on, we get to see its full body, and its bottom half is like a gorilla. So I think it was very much like a Godzilla King Kong mashup that they were kind of going for.
Yeah. So while that's all going on, Arabella has gotten loose and gotten to the villagers, and she's like, no, the monsters didn't kidnap me, it was Freak Finder, he's the bad guy. And they're like, what? Oh, like, she's like, so I think you all owe the monsters an apology. And they're like, the entire village is like, do we have to? And she's like, yes. You shake their hands and say you're sorry. And so the whole village
make it like you mean it.
Yeah, it's so cute. Like, Arabella's great. Like, she's like the movie Stitchhead, he's the main character, but Arabella is sort of like the audience insert character, and she's just great. Yeah, we have that reconciliation happening while Freak Finder is trying to get away from the giant kaiju monster running in slow motion. And this movie has had, a handful of songs that are like, have been written for this movie. But we get one, licensed like needle drop pop song here, which was really weird, but like totally worked, which is the song "I'm All Out of Love." So like while Freak Finder is like flying in slow motion, trying to like not get eaten by the kaiju, that song's playing, and then we have the whole the villagers, the monsters. They all come into the lab. And there they find that Stitchhead did lose his arm. Like we cut away to the effects of the lever, but the stitches broke, and he his arm's still like attached to the lever, and we have Creature cradling him in his arms. He's like unconscious, and Creature's just like, it's gonna be okay, very best friend. Like we'll figure something out. You're gonna be okay. And that's when the professor finally snaps out of it. He comes in and is like, Stitchhead? Yeah, are you okay? And the Creature kind of like hands him to him, and he's like, you're my very first creation, and we've got to. Well, I'll save you. I'll fix you. So yeah, I think he starts working. We have Stitchhead waking up, and like I think the emotional payoff of the movie is that as soon as he wakes up, he calls Creature his very best friend.
Yes.
And that's pretty much like, that's the emotional sort of like climax of the film. And then, as I hinted at earlier, that takes us straight into a dance number, which is like a reprise of the Are You Ready for Monsters song, with like the monsters and the villagers and the carnival folks, and they're all dancing together, having a great time. And so, as much as Stitchhead was kind of like wrongheaded for like thinking that he needed to leave to find a family when he had one there right in front of him the whole time, it does kind of work out in the end, in that like now everybody's okay. Like now not only does he have his family at the castle, but they don't have to be afraid anymore. They know the villagers. They can all live in peace and interact with one another. So his little adventure, it wasn't just like for nothing. Like it improves everyone's lives.
Yeah. It's really interesting that, like, in this movie, Stitchhead basically has exactly what the Creature in the original, like, book wants. Like, he's got more than one companion. He's got multiple monstrous companions, but he's still, it's not enough for Stitchhead.
Yeah, It does. I mean, it seems strange that he's just so completely like oblivious to what he has in front of him. I think definitely part of that is that like he knows the professor doesn't care about him or any of the creations, and that maybe that distance from his creator like has is the hole in his heart that he's trying to fill.
Yeah, those daddy issues they'll really do a number on you.
Oh yeah. And so once, like, after the big dance number, we do sort of get like the credits roll over some like Polaroids of little bits, other characters from the movie, and we kind of get like quick little wrap ups of like what all the characters are up to, including like that Nan seems to have like fallen in love with the professor. So now, Arabella gets to like help him with his experiments, and she loves that. We also see that, like, I guess Freak Finder did get eaten by the kaiju thing, which then vomits him up and then eats him again and then vomits him up again. Like, we get like several Polaroids in a row of this happening repeatedly.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that the whole like credits photo montage. That's really, it felt like such a throwback, because that's not really something that you see in movies anymore, but it was, for a while it seemed like a lot of movies did that.
Yeah, it's just like a fun way to kind of like one, make you want to sit through some of the credits, and two, just like, we've had the climax and the falling action and all that, but like it's still kind of nice to be like, so what are they doing now? Like what are the monsters up to now that everything's fine? And we just get to see these little, we don't get to see a lot. It's just Polaroids, but we see monsters hanging out with villagers and with carnival people, and like everybody's just together. And it seems like we kind of we're getting like a glimpse of the happily ever after of the movie.
Yeah, we definitely get to get the sense that everything's cool now. Even the carnival people are, everybody's cool with them. It really, Freak Finder's the only one that kind of has like a bad ending, and even he, he's still okay. Presumably, it's not like Lord Farquaad at the end of Shrek where he's definitely being digested.
Yeah, he definitely. I think he gets a little bit of a redemption arc because he certainly like gets pretty bad there near the end, but I think he learns his lesson, and like he's not just like Farquaad is just like straight up cartoon villain, like whereas I think Freak Finder is a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, it really once again it makes me curious about the graphic novel series, and if Freak Finder or any of the other carnival folk come back. I know some of the graphic novels, apparently, like there's one where Stitchhead has to fight pirates or like ghost pirates or something.
Okay.
But beyond that, I don't know exactly, how they keep furthering the story, but it really this is a series that I really wish had been around when I was like of that age, because it would have been right up my alley. I would have had all of the books. I would have had like a Stitchhead stuffed animal.
Oh yeah, I'm glad that this is out. I hope that this movie does well and starts a tiny little franchise. Like I don't think this is the next Shrek or anything, but like, it would be nice if like these graphic novels kind of got a little bit more attention, and maybe we get a sequel in a couple years. I think there's, clearly with 6 graphic novels, there's plenty more story already in existence that could, easily be made into additional films.
Yeah. By the way, I don't think we mentioned it, but the graphic novels are written and I think drawn by this guy named Guy Bass. He's the creator.
Yeah, it's you don't see often like graphic novels that are written and drawn by the same people, but every now and then you get those like creator owned, and that's when you tend to see that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's really cool that this guy did this little passion project, and it's become this film.
Definitely recommend this. I mean, even if you don't have kids to take to it, I'd say it's worth a watch if you enjoy monster stuff, or even just throwing on like a kids movie or an animated movie, just to kind of turn your brain off. And it's not like you're going to see Begonia or something like that. Yeah. It's definitely a fun trip. I'd say it's worth a visit to the theater for.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, I think that's all I've got to say, unless you have anything else.
No, I think that's about it.
All right. Well, you can find us on all the socials at the Frankencast. You can email us at thefrankencast@gmail.com. We're also over on YouTube. And of course, you can always find us at patreon.com/thefrankencast, where I predict we will be talking about some Stitchhead graphic novels before too long, because it seems like we're both pretty intrigued by where else this story goes.
Yeah, definitely.
And I still haven't, we're still figuring out exactly how the schedule stuff is working, and so I'm not sure what we're going to be doing next week. I think Eric will be back next week, and maybe we'll be talking about Matinee. We'll just have to see, but hopefully we'll get the schedule kind of straightened out, and I'll know what we're up to a little bit better. But yeah, join us next week for something good, hopefully. And
as always, to be continued.
Looks like you survived another episode. The Frankencast is a production of It's hosted by Anthony Bowman and Eric Velasquez. Follow us on Twitter at TheFrankencast, or send us a letter at thefrankencast@gmail.com. Our cover art is by Amanda Keller. You can find her at Keller Illustrations on Instagram. Our theme music is by Vivek Abhishek. Thanks for listening.